My name is Gemma Haley. I'm an advanced cultist and I want to talk about systematic child abuse. And so, really, the reasons why I want to get into this is because it's almost like an obstruction. Once a child gets put in care, it's an obstruction. Like, the LA has your children, they have requested PR of your child. So what happens is that you're less likely to get that child back out, and you have to go through like assessments that takes like 12 weeks. So if you want to get a child out of care and your family, it's going to take 12 weeks to take them back out of care, at least. That's what they say. Now, if you want to take your child, if you want to like look after your, like, if you're an auntie or an uncle, and you want to take them children and remove them out of care, you should be able to do that sooner than that. So I don't know why it takes 12 weeks. And then you've got to remember that the social workers that have colluded against you already, they're on the case. Well, there's no chance, is there? Because they've put them there in the first place. So why is this taking place? Why does it take so long for the children to be assessed, to be put back into family care? It should have been done straight away. 9 times out of 10, what they'll say is, "Oh, nobody came forward," when they probably did. And they'll say, "Oh, it's a mistake, sorry, we're trying to rectify it, but it's got to take 12 weeks now." And it's just, it's a game. It's a game, and they're playing games with children. And this is systematic. This is their processes, right? So now we have to realise, well, this needs to take 1 week, 2 weeks max, no longer. And why is it not taking that long? And then when you try and apply, if you have people rejecting your applications, well, that's definitely systematic corruption taking place. Why? Because they are ignorant to your asking. Especially if you're a mother or father and you have PR, you have every right to go in there and ask for them back. You have more rights than anyone else in that room. But they've tried to take it away from you under a guise of a law. So why, in the first place, say like if it weren't supposed to happen and it was unjustified, and a judge has done it, you ask the other judge to help you, and they don't do it, and they don't listen, well, that's another cause for systematic child abuse. Because you've ignored the child, you've ignored the parents' wishes for the child, and that's what matters, not anybody else's. To step in as a local authority and then to withhold the children from being back with family, and then saying, "Oh, it's just because of this, and this, and using your solicitors." Well, that's systematic child abuse, because you're isolating that child from being back with family. You're isolating that child from emotional support that they could have if they had their family. So this has happened a lot. I think I posted something the other day about, I think it was today, about a woman who had a child and she was going through care proceedings. Her child was in care proceedings, and that was her niece, and she tried to get a child out of care, and it was taking so long, and she could have that child. And it's really sad because, you've got positions of power where they're not eager to learn, they're not eager to look through these case files, they're not eager to do that. They get paid so much money as well, and you'd think that they would have some form of like emotional like connection to their jobs, like where they actually engage in looking through the processes, like what could be wrong, seeing where the facts in a file case is wrong. And it's so obvious when you go through it how wrong it is. And to ignore that as well, and then to see a child could go back to family and they don't engage in pushing them children back into family care straight away, is an undignified approach to the system itself within family youth courts and justice. And what it does is it aids the children to suffer more likely of harm because they are with people who don't care about them. So if you've got to think them kids that are in residential care, they don't have emotional support. They don't have their one parent giver. It's like a school, and you don't get support at a school, do you? You've got 30 kids in one classroom. You can't, as a teacher, go to every single one of them children and give them every single day, unless you're doing a group setting. So we already know that there's a division that takes place within systematic regimes. So if you can understand a child being in residential care, they're not getting the love they need. They're not getting the care that they need. They're not getting what they need, right? So you know that you're already isolating that child from emotional support. That's deprivation. So in a child's development, they're deprived from emotional support. They're more likely to be angry. They're more likely to act out. and then they're more likely to be withdrawn, even more so, right? So you're actually aiding and abetting child abuse in a systematic context. And if you're leaving that child in care knowing that there's people to go to, a family, then that just goes to show the ignorance that you are not willing to learn, you are not willing to pass on them children back to family because you are being systematically cruel to those children, which is an act of child abuse. Doesn't matter if you're a judge or not. Doesn't matter if you're like, high is high. It's still an act of child abuse. And you know it is. You know. To lie about parents as well, saying that they've been single for like 3 years and no contraception. Proof by the doctors. No contraception. Don't need contraception. Why? Because I don't have a partner. And then they tried to make that up as well. Just tried to make loads of stuff up about a parent just to take the children away. There's systematic error taking place. It's controlled demolition under the guys at LA. So then when they take the children, they're less likely to give them children back to family because it was done for a specific reason. Now it concerns me. It saddens me because it's a systematic process to put children in care because there's money on their heads. Or, even worse, child trafficking. Now, I'm not saying it happens. I'm not saying that it actually does happen, but, it's a possibility. To take them out of their beds in the middle of the night, for example. Well, that's child trafficking, isn't it? But to take them away from their mums completely forever. It's a bit strange, isn't it? It's like they love their jobs. They love doing it. I can imagine that a lot of them don't have families. A lot of them don't have children. Or if they do, they don't care about their own children. I can see that. It's sad, really, because they think they're safe too. But what about your next generation after that? What about their babies? When all that money's spent that you used to take these ones, and all your money's spent from your generations, and then they ain't got nothing, then it happens to them. And that's what stream you'll fall through back on. I didn't come here for lots of money, gain, power. I come here for an understanding. Share something with the world. And to raise and nurture and love, protect